Hello, hello. Let me know if you can hear me okay because I am using my podcast mic. So if you're joining in, just like say, I hear you because I'm just going to go ahead and go. And I want to keep this short as possible because my husband's upstairs and it's kind of a special day, so I want to share what today means to me. So and this just came up because I was just recording an episode with a guest and I was like, well, I remembered it yesterday. I remembered yesterday was the day of the big scary change that I made regarding my husband, but I'd forgotten that it was also another anniversary. But it's a big day, October 21st, October 21st, October 21st, 2006, and October 21st, 2019. Two big events happened. So the events were that, and if you are joining me, say where you're from. I don't know what that is. What is that? Live viewer comments. Okay. Yeah. So tell me where you're joining from. But 15 years ago today, and in the title, in the comments, you might have seen like the two scariest things I've ever done in my entire life. And the first one was 15 years ago. And that was I Googled, I know, don't say I'm crazy, but I Googled, I drunk Googled. So you know how you drunk dial? But I drunk Googled because I was at a girlfriend's wedding. I was out of town. Well, it was her rehearsal dinner, to be very clear. It was her rehearsal dinner. And I had a little bit too much wine. And I was at my hotel. And I decided to Google my old boyfriend. I decided that, gosh, I dated for 27 years and his name had recently come up at a reunion. And it just came into my head like 3 weeks prior and I could not get it out of my head. I kept like, I wasn't constantly thinking about it, but I would periodically, like, my mind would be like, oh, I wonder what he's doing. Oh gosh, it would be really neat to connect with him. Uh, yeah. And at the time I was I'd been married to my first husband for 25 years and we were not really in a great situation. And we were just like kind of living as brother and sister. I've shared the story before, so I'm not going to go into detail on that. But I was just not in a good place with my personal relationship, and so maybe I shouldn't have done that. Like looking back, naughty me, but yet. For me, it was just like reaching out, and we always justify the actions we took. And like I was inebriated. So of course we do stupid things when we're inebriated. But I will say, I made that first step. I made that first step and it literally changed my life. Um, so he did not answer. I found him. I found his number. And I made a phone call. It would have to be his business because his resident was disconnected. So it was an older phone. He had moved like the previous year and a half. I found out later. And so his new number, it wasn't his new number. It was an old number, but he was still at the same place, workplace. I didn't know if that was his place, but I knew that he had been in real estate. I knew his middle name. So I said, this is as close as it gets to who this could be. So I made the phone call and I left a message. Uh, this is Lori. I said my maiden name, who you went to, our college. You went to Old Dominion University with. And if this is the mic right, I think it is, then call me back. Click. So, and then of course, woke up the next morning, I was like, what did I do? So anyways, fast forward. So this was his office. And so he wasn't at work and until the following week. So he called me back and we had a delightful conversation, reconnecting. And during the day, I remember I was in my office at work And I didn't really have an office. We were all in cubicles. That was a job I had that we were all cubicle most of us were in cubicles. And, I was only there for about a year, but, yeah, I remember walking and to a place where I could talk, ultimately outside the building on the sidewalk, so just have that memory. But, yeah, so that led to us having lunch and me coming home and having a serious conversation with my ex-husband about, you know, you know, I'm not happy. What this is what we had had those conversations, but they were few and far between. It was really kind of like we weren't communicating about the things that we needed to communicate, and so yeah, I was kind of like I I'm not happy. I think we should separate. So because I didn't want to like see him again. We had lunch and I thought, yeah, I don't wanna see him again until I officially am able and, like, feel like, I can. But the point of this story is that I that was the first step. 15 years ago today was the first step I took to a happier life, to a life that I never thought possible, to a life that I only dreamed of because this guy I was, like, head over heels in love with when I was, like we dated for 2 years in college, and I broke it off, but, he was just sowing his wild oats, if you know what I mean, and I was just like, "No, you don't want the same things I want, and so I'm moving on," and so I very quickly moved on and got married, so, yeah, and I never really completely forgot him. So, I had a box in my furnace room that I, like, had stuff in it, and I look back and I think I probably shouldn't have kept that, but I kept keeping it. So that says something. And so, I got to this place in my life, I was 47 years old, and I was like, "I have to do this, and if it, like, is it works out, great. Chances are probably slim to none. If it, uh, doesn't work out, who knows? I got to the point where I didn't care. I just had to change. I had to do something. I did not I was settling in life. I was settling for a life I didn't want, and I just had to go for it, and I didn't care what was on the other side. I just knew it would be better. I just knew that, it would force some kind of positive change. Whether that was, I potentially, my ex-husband and I could have gotten back together because those things can happen. It didn't, we think so much that the decision we make and, to explore is there's no way to go back. Well, why do you wanna go back? Because you made that decision to go forward, and so going forward can actually bring you better things, and they can just might be the similar to what you had before, but in a new and better way, right? And so, yeah, so that's what I did 15 years ago, and, today is our 15-year, me leaving a message anniversary. So, our first date or the first date, our lunch was, like, the 24th, and, yeah. So, anyways, number 2, the second scariest thing was uh 2 years ago, I was very, very unhappy in my job, and I was doing something different. I had started a business, an online business, and I had been doing it for a little less than a year. And I was contemplating, uh, leaving the career that I had known all my life, 35 plus years. And it was scary because, I was very well paid. I had a lot of security. I had, bonuses, 401k, health insurance, a lot of benefits. But I was every Sunday night, I would get depressed. And is that a way to live? No, it's not a way to live. I had something that I loved better, and I wasn't doing it. I was doing it on the side, and there wasn't enough time to do it, right? And I feel like too that, that side thing was not progressing at the pace that I wanted it to. If I'm going to be doing something late in life that's new, I wanna pick up the pace, right? Um, and I didn't want it to be a hobby. I wanted it to be, like, something that was sustainable, that, like, could, you know, I could live on. And so I was at a business conference, and I was speaking to some friends, and I was like, "I wanna make a decision, like, help me make this decision, like, help me." No, if they're good friends, they're never gonna help. They're never gonna tell you what decision to make, they're just gonna ask good questions. So, of course, that's what they did. And these are other business owners, so we and a lot of us, have clients, so we know how to talk to people, so being around people who know how to ask really good questions is really a good thing. So they asked questions and made me think. And what was the most incredible download that I had while I was trying to make this decision was, holy crap. Today is October 21st. 13 years ago, because 2 years ago, it was 13 years ago. 13 years ago, I took the scariest leap of faith and did something that most people would say, "You're a crazy nut for doing." But it led me on the most beautiful journey and gave me the happiest decade that followed, and I'm into the second one with him now. We've been married for 12 years, 12 and a half years. Um, and I can't imagine where I'd be if I hadn't done that. And so what came to me in that moment, and when these things come to you, they're a gift from somewhere high above, because, like, that was my intuition telling me, "It's okay, Lori, it's okay. Have faith. You can't see it. You can only see what you've seen. You can't see what you haven't seen." In other words, we only know from the past. But what if that is holding us back? If that's keeping us in a box? And what if the future could be so much more brilliant than what we could even imagine? And so I thought to myself, I am scared as shit. So I'm gonna say that word because that's what I was. Um, and I was so scared to take that leap, but the universe sent me a message that said, "You've done this before and you can do it again." And that's when I realized also that by ignoring that intuition, because I've ignored my intuition my whole life, and that's what got me into the pickle I was in, where unhappy in a marriage, unhappy in a career. So I, was paying attention. I was paying attention to my intuition. And it said to me that, yeah, if you don't do this, it's showing that you don't trust your intuition. You don't trust. You're going to suppress your intuition again? You've done that your whole life. Or are you going to trust and know that the net will be there for you regardless? And so on the way home, on the plane from that conference, I turned in my resignation from my corporate job. And I've been doing what I love, absolutely love and adore, for 2 years. So it's the anniversary of that point at which I had that, like, download, "Do it, do it, do it." I still contemplated for a few more days during the conference and made the decision, like, before I got on the plane, but I wanted to wait until the 24th of October to actually send my resignation, because the 24th is the same day I met my now spouse for our lunch. And I thought, "Hey, there's alignment in this whole thing of it making that first step to decision on the 21st, and then full on action on the 24th. So October's a big, big month for me. It's also like I think I started my health transformation in early November. I think I said recently, on a podcast, I did it in October, but I think it was November. Anyways, the fall is my favorite season, and it's a very, when you think about it, how the colors change and how the leaves fall off, and here it's like, you know, such s uh, this my favorite season is the season of my biggest changes. Isn't that crazy? It's kinda crazy to think about it. So as you can see, I love fall, and I wanted to share that because I just wanted anybody who's listening to this, you can do anything is possible. You just have to decide. Decide not if you're in a place in whatever area it is, whether it's relationship, whether it's career, whether it's health, if you're in a place you don't wanna be, all you need to do is make a decision to change, make a commitment to change, decide that, and then take the first step. And, like, blessings will come because you know what? Your intuition's talking to you. If you're not happy, your intuition's saying, "Do something about it, do something about it." And you're just like, you know? So and if you're here and you're seeing this, maybe that's a sign. Maybe there's a reason. I don't know. I was just compelled to get on and share this message, and that's what I wanted to say. So I am going to go upstairs and join my husband and give him a big kiss and say, "Thank you. Thank you for calling me back." Right? All right. Mwah. Thank you for being here. Thanks for listening. Hi, Cindy. Hi, Pamela. Peace. Peace. Yes, I feel peace. I feel peace from making those changes and where I am now. Yes, very, very much peace at a peaceful place. So thank you for being here, listening. Bye.